Hey, so how many of you were on the Chat GPT training last week? Super interesting. I'm curious how many of you are using this on a regular basis. I've heard a ton about it and I have not implemented it at all. Is why I'm curious. Is like, what are you guys using it for? Are you using it? Should you be using it? We do have a recording of this training if you weren't on it, but anybody got any comments on last week's training?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic and I learned a few things and I use it, but not nearly as much as I should. But it's super fun to just go in and play around with it and all sorts of things. It will spit out anything you want in a professional manner.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard so many great things from people. In fact, after this training, I got on a phone call with Alan Blood and we talked for a long time about it. And he kind of like hinted that, yeah, I'm a novice, I'm not using it that much. But as he started telling me all the applications that he's using it, it's like he's using it quite a bit. And just the prompts and just the time saving of just whittling down data. One of the things I'm super interested in is even things like Zoom, right? The ability to record meetings and trainings or conversations and have it put it into a outline format with bullet points and key points and takeaways. That's the part I want to kind of probably get into first.
I know that Shade has used it for his business. Like he's created like a jingle for his business and done some advertising like that. And so now when he listens to commercials on TV, he'll be like a Walgreens commercial or Rite Aid, and he'll be like, that's Chat GPT, that's AI, or that's,
Really, he can just tell the format or something.
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's where we got to be careful too. We don't want to sound impersonal or robotic or whatever. I think getting the information or getting a start is really, really good. But then going through and putting it in your voice, I think is really important. And one thing Alan was telling me too about that is you can actually have it give you the content or whatever, give you the ideas, but then put it in your voice. I thought you had to upload video, like a long form video of you talking, so it talks in your mannerisms and your words and your type of speak. But he said there's actually a prompt for that, where it has you read something that has enough fluctuation in it and your tonality and to actually capture your voice, but then you also input something that is in your own words and it does something to be able to help you recreate something that sounds more like you. So
I think the AI stuff
said this.
it's so interesting, but it's like a little intimidating, especially for those perfectionists here, right? Like, because it can do so much that for me, I'm sort of like, it's like paralysis by analysis. Like I'm just not going to jump in because there's too much and I just don't really get it. So Jeff, I just signed up for town sites um for Salem. So I'm like, I'm gonna let town sites handle my AI stuff for now.
There you go. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Shantae. It's kind of intimidating because it's moving so rapidly. We already feel behind
Mhm.
if we haven't used it. So it's like, oh my gosh, everybody else is so much further ahead of me, but it's not going anywhere. And so I almost feel this sense of urgency to learn and jump in, and wherever I'm at compared to somebody else doesn't really matter, but we will get left behind.
Mhm.
Because technology's taken over. So yeah, we all need to kind of jump in on that.
I attended a little. Oh, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, I was just going to say briefly, I wasn't able to attend because it was on last Wednesday, right? I think it was. Because
Yep.
that's also the same day as our Washington State, broker meeting, in Zoom or in the world and all. And I figured I needed to be in that because I figured they were going to talk about the NAR stuff, in which they did a little bit. But I was able to only get the last maybe 15 minutes or so of this class, the Chat GPT. But what I was also impressed with, and is I got a phone call from Charlie Brown personally. I guess something in the chat. I might have put something in the chat, but I think he got me confused with Ashley. She might have put something in chat, and I think he thought that he was that I had written it because I said I don't recognize making that comment in in the chat of the class. And so anyway, I was also impressed, and we had a long conversation about this program and everything. And so and him reaching out to me was the fact that I'm sure he's quite busy too, but he was willing to like get me started on it too. And I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I I've heard so much like GPT too, and I thought it was going to be something fly by night, just here today, gone tomorrow type thing. Like a few months ago when I took another class with over there in Coeur d'Alene. So I was really impressed, even with the fact that he responded back to me, even if I wasn't the one that made that comment in the chat room. So
Well, go back and go to the Team Limitless Facebook group, Kathy, and you can watch the recording. It'll give you
Okay,
some good
perfect.
idea.
Yeah, perfect. So
Yeah, I think he was actually trying to reach out to Stacy about the copy paste thing. Because Stacy, you weren't on the registration list. Do you still want him to reach out to you about that?
I don't need him to reach out to me for anything. I don't know what it is you're referring to, but
I think
it
you
was
said
allowed-
something about you're having trouble copying and pasting from Chat GPT
Oh,
that the
no.
formatting.
His comment fixed it. It was just,
Oh,
I was overlooking a little button at the bottom. It was a cute little clipboard, and that's all it was. I just hadn't noticed it before, a little icon down there. That was the copy button.
yeah,
So,
I think that's what
yeah, so he fixed it.
was saying to me too. That's what Stacey, I think you're right. I think that's what the comment was something about. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, it was super simple, and I figured it was, but yeah, he solved it for me that quickly. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, this Wednesday, guys, and if you guys aren't local and on Zoom can tune into this. Tony's been to has done one of our trainings before, and it was pretty awesome. This is more in the personal development space, but it does apply to business as well. So business and personal life. There's several of our agents in our Limitless group that have gone on to do coaching with them. I know Shayna and James are in that circle and have really benefited from his programs and his style of teaching. James, are you still, I don't see you on there. If you're still on there, do you have a quick comment you can plug for this training or presentation with Tony on Wednesday?
Yeah, don't miss it. Yeah.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
no, it's really good. It's all about kind of getting over things that you were like either told or taught. I don't know necessarily about this thing, but it's kind of the foundation of it is basically getting out of your own way. We all have these ideas in our head that have been there since we were little kids and we weren't responsible for putting them there. And there's ideas that we are responsible for putting there as far as limitations and stuff. And it's just a matter of one, being aware of those things, knowing how to get past them, and then moving forward. And there's always going to be things like that. So really, it's just a never ending growth process. I really describe it as, people have different opinions about school. I liked school, but this is a school that everybody should like because you are the topic and you get to explore that. And as you say, really dive into it, you can see the progress almost immediately. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
The way you said you are the topic. I mean, we all should spend a good portion of our education and learning on bettering ourselves, right? That's the best investment we can make is in ourselves. So you are the topic. I like that. I'm going to use that somewhere.
I have a quick
Cool.
thing just about ChatGPT real fast. I attended a short training before this by Barry Overton. He's an EXP agent. But what he does is he actually tells ChatGPT to create a mastermind with people. So he did included Elon Musk, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, Tony Robinson, and whatever. And then it said basically ask them to create what would they do to create a successful real estate business. And I'd never thought of it using it like this before. But then it gave Elon Musk's perspective, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, and it gave him just a breakdown of what each of those people would do. And so he uses it a little bit differently. He first used it to provide listing descriptions, but now he uses it as a thinking partner. So I don't think AI or chat GPT is ever going to go away, because one is it really helps us capitalize on our most valuable resource, which is our time. And
Mhm.
so I don't think it's going anywhere. So I would just say, like, if you have thoughts, I would just throw it in there in a chat GPT. It's like, oh, I wonder this, throw it in there. And then you'll just start to become more and more comfortable with it.
That is
Um,
super cool, James. Super cool.
yeah, it wasn't my idea, but, and he got that idea from Think and Grow Rich, because I guess Napoleon Hill did that, because some people he thought about was like Abraham Lincoln, basically people who had already passed away before he had written the book. And so he read through those people's lives and stuff, and became so familiar with their thought process, and that's kind of how we got some of those ideas in there. But yeah, that's my little chat
I
GPT.
remember that from Think and Grow Rich, is like he created his own little advisory council to where, or a board of directors that he could go to and pitch his problems to and collaborate with them. And I really like that approach, because masterminds are great, right? You guys always, every week, like I'm already taking notes today, give me ideas, and the community and the group. It's just one more aspect of asking for advice. I hadn't really even thought of it that way, James. So that was a great takeaway from that training. And, thanks for sharing that, because that puts a whole nother perspective on the use of what that is. Instead of create this for me, it's like, hey, well, what would so-and-so do? Or, like Eric and I talk a lot, is like, hey, what would you do on this counter offer? Any thoughts on that? And it's just the collaboration and open conversation that I have with you guys about real estate. It's the same kind of thing. I really like that. Eric shared in the chat that link to fathom.video. Eric, that's a plugin.
Yeah, so you can actually sign up for it and use it. It's free. And you just let it in your Zoom meeting like any other guest, and it takes incredible notes for you. I mentioned it at the training on Wednesday, but yeah, you guys should definitely explore that and just try it out, on Wednesday or Mondays. And it takes really great notes on any meeting and highlights. But it's free. It says it's going to be free forever too.
I could really use something like that, because I'm such a slow writer, because I always got penmanship perfect, try to be, and I never am, but
So yeah,
that would be perfect for me.
if you're on somebody else's Zoom meeting, you have to let them know what you're doing, so they'll let that note taker in. But if it's your own Zoom meeting, you just let your note taker in. It's really really cool. I've been using Chat GPT a lot more this last week than I have in the past. And I really, really enjoy it. And it has a really easy learning curve. It's easy to figure out. It's easy to use. I think what takes time is figuring out how to integrate it into your business. Okay, now what am I going to do with this? And thinking about it on a regular basis, and thinking, how can I remind myself to use this tool in my daily work when I'm busy and I'm trying to get something out or completed, to say, hey, I should run this through chat and see what happens, and see if I can work on it. I worked on Riker's resume over the weekend. He's he's almost 16, and he's working on getting a job at a golf course. And just like an introduction letter, and you write it and you drop it in chat, and you say, hey, make this better, make this more professional, and it gives you a bunch of different ideas and different verbiage that you can use. It's super easy, and it's incredible how well it does. Like, wow, that's really well written.
Love that. Well, obviously we all should play around with it more, and then get beyond playing around with it and actually integrate it and use it in our business. And like Eric's, the personal life too, with the resumes and stuff. That's kind of cool. The sky's the limit on the applications of that, right? Cool. So that being said, who has some wins? I know Hillary has one. I hope she'll share that. Kathy, I don't see anybody raising their hand, so anyone? Go ahead. Kathy.
I'll share one.
Hey, let Kathy go first. She was like,
Yeah.
and then we'll go to you, James.
I can wait because I can get long-winded, but I do have fantastic, great news.
Let's
Well,
hear
mine
it.
is only mediocre, so let's hear yours first.
I worked really hard this weekend. There were lots of showings on my listing. I had a bottom line is I was up all day yesterday to last night late, and I have a signed around agreement in 14 days on my listing.
Nice. Good
Awesome.
job.
Signed around purchase and sale agreement, and it's going to close on April 25th.
Congratulations.
Hey, I did it.
That is awesome. Good job, Kathy.
Yeah, it was tough. There was like so many showings, all like on Friday, two or three on Friday, like 4 on Saturday, 1 yesterday. I even got a call this morning for a showing. I had to turn them away because I had to go through CenturyLink and say it's already pending, but it hadn't shown up in pending at 7 o'clock this morning yet because I didn't turn the paperwork until like 9:30 last night, and it has to go into the MLS, and Angie changes it to pending, so I have to check that and see if it happened. So yeah, 415,000. Ever since we lowered the price down on Wednesday the 20th from 445 down to 420, 25,000. So altogether it's like a $45,000 decrease in price from when it was first listed. And it just opened up the floodgates with phone calls and showings. So
Awesome. Got it in that right price range.
now I just got to get all of that. And I have a question because do I put the listing, because I haven't put the listing into SkySlope yet. So do I just do it all at once, with SkySlope? The list, I have to input the listing as well as the purchase and sale agreement, right?
Yeah, so Kathy, you probably have somebody like we have here in Utah that helps with the transaction stuff. So you can reach out to your state team and they'll kind of help you with this, since it's been a minute since you've done that. But technically you should upload the listing before you even get an offer. So when you get the listing,
Right.
put it in there as a listing, then you can turn it into a transaction once
Okay.
you get the contract on it. So
Okay.
yeah, you just start now that you're under contract, you can do it all at once.
Okay, great. Yeah, so happy.
Yeah, good
And
job.
it's also the day I'm supposed to leave. The closing's supposed to be on the day that I'm supposed to leave to go visit my son Ryan in Atlanta for a few days with me and Terry, and then I'm going from Atlanta to Orlando to Bill Pipes's event. The Sales Power event. I hope somebody from Utah is going, but I haven't heard anybody. I still got a room reserved. I need 2 or 3 ladies that want to join and share my room with me. So think about it. I'm trying to put a plug in. So anyway, I'm done.
James, and then Shane or Shantae.
So I found this website. It's called the Agent Power Huddle, and I noticed that Wendy Goss was going to present on there, so I hopped on there. And she actually presented her strategy that she uses to to get luxury homes. If you remember, she presented in Cabo. She's only been doing luxury for like 6 months. And so she shares her like CMA process that she sends out there through like HomeBot or something like that. And she has I think it's on Notion or Motion. I don't know what it is, some sort of website, but she has a process on there that she shares with people. And so if you guys are interested in luxury, I thought that was super useful. She breaks down how often she follows up, what she follows up with. And so that was good information as far as a follow-up goes with the luxury stuff. And she said that was the first time she had actually marketed herself without having a Jeep in the background, if you remember who she is. But because she really likes those. But so if anybody wants additional information on luxury, they posted her training, I believe, on YouTube. And so I can send the link out if you guys want that.
What was the group called, James? The Agent Power?
It's Agent Power Huddle. They do a training Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock. Was it at 9 o'clock? Yeah, basically from 9 to 9:30. I watched one today, and that's where I got all that information about Chat GPT. So Wendy's from EXP, Barry Overton was from EXP. So I don't know if they have all EXP people. I don't necessarily think so, but they just bring people in to present. And I've gone to 2 of them and I've been impressed with both of them. So, but I'll find that link. We're getting our water heater replaced here shortly. The guy's heading over, but I'll put that link in there before this training's over.
Cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's what I love about EXP is there's so many opportunities to plug in what other people are doing, and they're just like, yeah, join us. You know, we do this, whether it's like you said, this is it sounds like every morning little huddle, just kind of get the day going and put stuff in your mind. So super cool.
And for Wendy's presentation, I could see that there were multiple people from other brokerages. There were probably 60 people on there. Then she did a Q&A afterwards. So it's an awesome platform, I think.
Super cool. Shantae.
Yeah, so it's been a busy week. Last week I closed on one this last week, closing on one this week, and got another under contract. But this one that I just got under contract is the trickier one that I mentioned last Monday. So it took about 5 days in negotiations to get things just right, but this was my first 0% BAC to negotiate. So, you know, the NAR stuff was announced on Friday, media blasted on Monday. The list agent goes live with the home Monday afternoon. And though the seller has sold homes before, she tells her agent, you know, I just want to try this out. Like, I see I don't have to pay anything anymore, so I'm just not going to pay a buyer's agent commission. Like, I would consider it, but let's just put 0 in the MLS, you know, that was the take. It's like, all right. So I'll get into this. You know, I was on the 2 trainings last Monday too. I was on a mastermind on Wednesday about it. I was on the phone with my state broker team for a while. Like, what do you really, you know, what do I really need to use? Of course, I was having real, actual conversations with the listing agent, right? Not just text messages, but we were definitely talking quite a bit. And the best thing for my client would have been to send a seller fee agreement and treat it like a FSBO. However, this is the skinny, like the seller was really stuck on their net price, right? We get it. Sellers always want the best price. But they know that there's very low inventory. Like, this is the only home that's in decent quality in that small town anywhere near that price point, right? So they know you have that. But usual, like, normal days on market are like 120 days in that town. And we got to it like day 2 on the market. So they're like, well, we could just wait and see. You know, they definitely had some cards up their sleeve. But the trick is, like, for me, from my perspective, to sweeten the pot and get it under contract right away and keep the rest of the people away, I'm going to need to, like, increase the purchase price to offset that and create more of a win-win, offset the purchase price, get some seller credit or something. But if I sent the seller fee agreement, the state wasn't allowing me to talk about the price. And I basically have to send the seller fee agreement before I send the offer. So they don't really know. So it like takes that negotiating power away, and they don't really know that we were going to offer a little more to try to compensate, right? And with the seller fee agreement, I would have had to know the exact percentage that the seller was willing to pay, and they just wouldn't disclose. They just wouldn't share. They just wanted to play hardball. So I did wrap it up and get it under contract, but I had to use seller concessions. And what's unfortunate, like, for the buyer's perspective, is like, this buyer's, like many, is putting 5% down. So on a conventional, if they're putting under 10% down, their max seller contribution can be 3%. And I'm taking all 3% for commission. So there's nothing left if there's like a repair issue or something else, unless of course I reduce my commission. But it's a big win. But it was the first of, it's more so because it's the first of this process and this rollout, right? And to make it a win-win for everybody involved. But it was a little complicated. Like I used Leo's language from the training, which was specific to seller concessions. And then I had to run that past our lender because the lenders don't have it figured out. They don't know exactly what's going to work and what's not. And you don't want anything to screw up the transaction throughout the process, you know? So to run it through the lender, they ran it through underwriting. We did all the things, talked to the state legal team, had to talk to all the people to make sure this one got worked out.
Well, congratulations. That it's gonna change. It's gonna change. We'll
Yep.
talk more about NAR after we kind of go through the wins and stuff, but because that is you know, it's a new thing in our business that we have to address, and we have to decide what our strategy is. We need to know how to talk to our sellers and whether they're going to offer it. It's kind of funny that that seller said, well, I don't have to offer a commission anymore, so I'm not going to. They never had to.
Right.
It was always an option, right?
Mhm.
It's interesting the take on the decisions and what's happening. My opinion is NAR screwed up.
Mhm.
NAR screwed up big time. So we can talk more about that in a minute, but who else has a win? Hillary, are you still with us? I know you do. You've already shared one with me.
Yeah, I'm still here, still just driving. But yes, I got my first listing in a while this week. So that was kind of fun because it was a referral from a friend, but the referrals to somebody who lives on my street. It was just kind of funny. So which is kind of cool at the same time. So
Wow, that was the summary version.
yes, sorry, I don't
Congratulations.
what else to do? But anyway, so here's the other rest of it. I should probably put a plug in for it, right? It's gonna be I think it's gonna be right under 600,000. I haven't quite pinpointed it yet. She wants to kind of keep an eye on things for a month while she packs. But so if you're looking for if you have any clients looking for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story, has a 3-car garage and an RV pad, corner lot right across from trails. Like it's actually really, I mean, it's a good house. It has some good bones, but the only thing is that it needs some updating. It still has like brown walls, brown carpet, brown doors. Yeah, but the paint's in great condition. It's just dated. So anyway, just FYI.
Question for you, kind of putting you on the spot, but during your listing consultation, did you have a discussion about the commissions? Obviously your commission, but did the conversation entail the new directive from NAR and the ruling that came down and how they're going to treat buyers when they bring an offer and ask for commissions?
Yeah, so we did talk about it, and she was fine offering a percentage of the to bring bring a buyer to the buyer's. Oh, she was fine offering a percentage to the buyer's agent. So I did give her
Awesome.
that FYI and how it's going to work, but I'm like, sellers are still going to want to sell their house.
Mhm.
So I told her bring more traffic to the house, the higher the percentage offer. But anyway, yeah, so she was fine with it.
Isn't it interesting to think about the dynamic between being in a seller's market or a buyer's market and the attitude on both sides? Because just imagine we flip and we do get in a buyer's market and homes are sitting on the market for longer and longer. That's usually when sellers have to offer an incentive anyway just to get people to come and see their home and buy it. Imagine now being a buyer's agent and contacting that listing agent, say, hey, I've got an offer for you. I'd be willing to bring it. I know you've been on the market for 180 days, but I'm asking a 5% BAC. Right? Can you see that happening though? If it's a
Oh,
buyer's market,
absolutely.
they usually get more. And so that's why I say I hate the whole thing, because really what it does is just screw the consumers, particularly the first-time home buyers, the FHA, the VA buyers. It's making it super, super difficult. Those people that don't have extra funds to come to the table. And it's going to take a transition where people get used to the new way of offering commissions and putting deals together. So in the meantime, it's really the consumer that's going to suffer, which sucks. But
Yeah, I appreciated what I'm sorry, I didn't know the last girl who talked what her name is, but she was talking about her client getting under contract and had to negotiate her buyer's agent income. Like those are that's the kind of education that I feel like will super be beneficial to me, you know, as an agent on how to better support, you know, my, you know, first time home buyers for sure. And you know, but I think that, and knowing all the details behind that, I think is super important. And I would appreciate knowing more on how to, you know, to give them the best, you know, opportunities, you know, so.
Yeah.
Hillary, what was?
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry, Ashley. I was just gonna mention, like, it's interesting, of course, like the buyer and the seller are going to have different opinions, right? But if you look at like the Facebook groups and the different forums, right, between as agents, of course, our opinions are all over the place. I'm looking forward to the day where hopefully we get a little closer to being on the same page. I know this is very new, but we have to present a very uniform front and be very be able to really educate our clients on both sides and how it affects them. It is rather intense, and there are so many hoops to jump through. And what I keep hearing people talk about is the getting in the right state and the right mental frame of mind and communicating your value, right? Which I love, but very few people were actually talking about the logistics, like how to get it done and what terminology to use so that it won't screw up your transaction. So that piece definitely needs to be talked about more.
Bingo. Yep, you nailed it.
So I've got a comment.
go ahead.
Or a win, whatever you want to say. So I think I shared that I had my closing Friday before last. But what the news is so my goal for my anniversary year is to at least reach capping. And so that one I closed Friday put me at 7 for the year. And then I've got 2 active listings right now. That yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's I'm like at 40 something percent, almost at halfway to cap.
Nice job, Nathan.
Nathan, you took away one of my wins. I was going to brag about you today. Yeah, Nathan's
Hey, you don't have to stop bragging. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric. Yeah,
Yeah,
elaborate on that, would you?
I was just gonna tell a little story today, and I know some of you heard it, but I think it was 10 years ago, Nathan and I talked about you know, Nathan's desire to get into real estate and, you know, how could I help you out? And I said, yeah, move to Utah. I'd love to work with you and help you get you started, because it just wasn't as easy. And it's EXP gave us the opportunity to you know, make the distance so much shorter, being one brokerage instead of just being tied to a local little, you know, franchise branch or something. So yeah, thanks to EXP for making that happen. And I'm just so proud of Nathan and what he's done and making a huge transition from his previous professional career, and this career is so different. So it was it was I'd say a big learning curve for Nathan, and I've seen everything that he's done, being really consistent with his marketing and reaching out to people and being a presence in the community. And I know a lot of those things that Nathan did at the beginning were not paying off, but he is very tenacious and kept on going. And now it's really starting to pay off for him, and he's getting those referrals, and people are starting to know who he is in the community. And I'm just so excited and stoked for him. And I also wanted to say, he couldn't have done it without Shantae either. Shantae was his mentor because they live about a half hour away, in the same MLS. And Shantae was a great mentor to Nathan. And it makes it a lot of fun to know that we're all part of it, all part of a team, and we all work together, and to see people really succeed where they've never had that experience before in this industry is really cool. So good job to both of you guys, and thank you. It's just, I'm proud of both of you guys. Awesome.
Thank you.
I feel the same.
I wanted to say something too, because I kind of wish that this closing was going to be like May 1st or a little bit, a couple of days later, because my anniversary date starts March 1st, even though I signed up with EXP April 1st, you know, but my for capping and everything, I guess my month starts May 1st. So, you know, but it's going to be at the tail end of this year's. So anyway, it was just kind of but I'm not going to delay it, of course. It needs to be closed quickly. So it's
It'll all work out. You've got some good momentum going as well, Kathy. Just keep it going.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it keeps going like that. So with all, you know, and that's thanks to everybody here too, because if it wasn't for you, Jeff, you reaching out to me when I was brand new and I didn't know why you were reaching out to me, you know, because I didn't know, you know, I was just learning the system and everything. And why does this guy keep texting me, you know, or emailing me or something until, do you remember having that conversation or something about that? You know, like 4 years ago?
Oh,
That's how
yeah.
long it's been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put Kathy on my invite list to the trainings and the stuff that we do. I hadn't met her, and reached out by text. She probably doesn't remember the introduction that way. It was just a short introduction. Hey, welcome to the team, blah, 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 blah. So eventually at some point she sends me a text messages like, who are you and why are you sending me all these text messages?
Well, there was two people named Jeff I was getting emails from, you know, and I realized, you know, with all, you know, the way this company works with all the Zooms and everything and the camaraderie and that type of thing, I just, you know, I didn't know, well, okay, well, who's this Jeff? So, and I thank you so much for it. I tell you all the time, and I sincerely mean it. So
Lynn, you were unmuting yourself. You're muted right now.
It takes me like I have to hit my phone like 6 times before me to become unmuted, and then I'm not talking before someone else gets in there. But yeah, this group right here is proof of those that stick with it. Can you continue to work hard and show up? I know it can get frustrating, but it's those years of continuing to do what you're doing that is now proving success. I mean, if you look at people that have come into the industry, left the industry, gone somewhere else, I'm not seeing the same success. Like, it's so amazing to see it. Like, Shantae's grown so much, Eric's grown so much, James has, Kathy has, Stacy has, we all have just completely changed. And it's just not normal, you know, changes. It's not just our real estate, it's also our mindset and everything else. So I love hearing the wins and seeing how good you guys are all doing. And it's fun when someone in your group reaches out and says, hey, will you help me with this? And then you're able to help them and they feel the support and the love. And that is the other thing that we're giving to each other, which is pretty awesome.
Love it. All right, all great stuff, great motivating things going on out there. And so keep up the momentum. And anybody else have any other wins before we move on? Or okay, what about a struggle? Anybody got anything that's like they're struggling with. We can talk about that. Cool, like me, y'all got it figured out. No, I'm just kidding. Something will come to your mind. Obviously, reach out to me and Eric, Lynn, each other, stuff like that. I do love it when I get the calls during the week, just to kind of brainstorm on stuff. So keep me in mind for that. Ashley, let's go to you. So Ashley is actually going to. We kind of got off our opening thoughts and parting thoughts with the NAR thing and conversation and Cabo and different things, which has all been great conversations. I just love, the contribution that you guys give. Like I said, I take notes and the things that you guys say, and I get a lot out of these meetings. But Ashley's going to give us some parting thoughts, something to think about during this week, and then we'll readdress it next week. So take it away.
Yeah, so what I wanted to share is from a book called The Sultan's 7 Secrets by Jeff Buhner. And it was one that Sydney read and then recommended to Jeff, and then Jeff handed it to me. So I just finished reading it. But
Highly recommended.
I just picked a quote out of here, and then I wanted to read a little bit about the quote. But it was just something that stood out to me. So the quote is, receive everything with thankfulness and you'll be made glorious. And the things you want and need will flow to you 100 times faster and easier. Being thankful is a little different than being grateful. Being thankful is feeling grateful and then opening your mouth and expressing it. There is tremendous power in expressing thanks for the things you receive. Say thanks often and keep a record of what happens. Thankfulness puts you on the frequency to receive. When you come to understand and practice thankfulness, you will see the things of this earth, the things you want, rush into your life with much more ease and speed. So for me, our focus for the week really is just to express thankfulness. Like as these things, these wins, we're doing it by talking about our wins together. We're expressing thankfulness, because I think like gratitude is one thing where you're expressing that, I'm so grateful that this is happening, but being thankful and like actually voicing it, I think just puts that out there for more to come back to you. And so my challenge just for the week is just to practice that, like just saying it out loud when things come your way.
I remember that from the book as well, is like making that distinction between being grateful and being thankful. Because you kind of like, oh, it's kind of the same thing. But I interpreted that as like being grateful is just more internal. It's more a feeling, and being thankful is expressive and sharing and inclusive maybe of the person or the whatever you're thankful for. So I like that, taking opportunities to actually express it. Stacy's on it.
It's The Sultan's 7 Secrets. I'll type it in here.
So let's see, Stacy's already thankful. She's thanking you.
Will you put it?
Yep. It's a short read too.
It's
a short read. I'm not gonna say that you're gonna get any brand new concepts in there, but it's the presentation of, being in charge of your life, the master of your own destiny, your subconscious controlling your reality, all that kind of stuff in a format that really makes you look at it a little bit different and actually deeper. And I think you'd all really like it. Sydney had recommended it to me because she literally said, this book has changed my life. So when somebody says that to me, I have to read it, right? And it wasn't on Audible, so I bought it. That's why she's got the hard copy. I don't buy a lot of books, but that's what it looks like. The Sultan's 7 Secrets. And then from the links and from the author sharing the things, there actually is an audio version available that I was able to go to the link. It just wasn't on Audible. Audible's where all my books are. I think it's called Hiro, 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 but you can get it on Audible as well through that. But the book, sitting down and actually reading the book and the concentration is probably better. So probably from Sultan's 7, the number 7, Sultan's and then the number 7 secrets.com is the website if you guys want to go to that. And I think you can find the link to get the audio version of it if you want it. Sultan's 7, but it's the number 7, not spelled out.
Type that in too.
And you, and Jeff, you said it's not on audio or Audible, or it is?
No, there's an audio version, Kathy, but it's not on Audible. Audible.com or Amazon, you know, that version of Audible library. So there is an audio version, but you have to go through a different download to get it, and then you can play it on
So what was
the
what
app.
was that download? Did you say? You said something. You said a hero or something like that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it'll say just go to the website. Actually, just put it in the
Okay.
chat. Just go to the website, and there will be a link to find the audio version.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank
And
you.
it has a recommendation to down to the app to download it too.
Okay. Thank you.
Nathan.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to share if you got a second.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've already shared this already. We're gonna have another grandbaby. So she's due at the beginning of next month, but today is Jesse's last day at work. So she's gonna be off for 12 weeks, and then hopefully, if everything goes right, I've got enough money in the bank for her to come start working for me rather than going back to work. And so she's going to
Wow.
be working as my delivery and ISA, amongst other things.
Cool.
And
That would be awesome.
I will be able to travel a bunch more too. Because it's right now, I mean, one being with me all the time, full time, is, you know, it's manageable because she goes and shows houses with me and everything. But two is one's an infant, you know, it's pretty difficult. So that's why she's going to stay home, and we'll be able to do a lot more. And so maybe I can make it over to Utah a little bit more often as well, because
Wow.
easier scheduling, you know, people don't have to take days off work.
You're in
Yeah,
Oregon, aren't
yeah.
you, Nathan? Are you in Oregon, Nathan?
Oregon, yeah.
Where in Oregon again?
So if you know where Albany is,
I do. I used to live in Harrisburg.
you used to live in Harrisburg. If you go
Yeah,
from,
for 10 years.
so if you shoot Albany and go east, I'm over in Sweet Home.
I know where that's at too. Yep.
Oh, okay.
I was just curious because I lived down there for 10 years before moving back here to Spokane 5.5 years ago, almost 6 now. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, cool.
Yep. So
And
the
Shante,
grandbaby should be arriving in the beginning of this month, next month.
cool. And Shante, you're in Oregon too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Dallas now, just outside of Salem.
Where the was that grandma's quilting, grandma's attic quilting store is there, I think, in Dallas. Is that right?
Probably that would make sense.
Yeah, I've been there too.
See, learn from Nathan's optimism. We're having a new baby, a grandbaby come into our life, and I'm going to have more time and be able to work more and travel more because of it. Now that's awesome. That's some serious optimism. I love it.
Yes.
Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations. Grandbabies are the best.
Well, I think you spoil your grandbabies and send them home. I have to ask like a parent because they live with me. I'm not doing the whole spoiled and send them home thing.
You know, Ashley and her kids and husband, when they came back from Nevada, lived with us for about 10 months. Wasn't it about 10 months? And I didn't want them to leave, to be honest. It was so great. There was the chaos, just the little kids running around because it's Lynn and I in this big old house, and to have those babies come and jump up in our bed in the morning and wake us up and just be excited about their new day. It's just, yeah, it was a treat. I should have sabotaged their move somehow.
I totally agree. I don't want them to leave. I mean, because it's so much fun, and I miss the kids being, you know, not as tall as me. My Duncan, the youngest, he's eye to eye with me now. Connor's just about eye to eye with me. Yeah, it's lots of fun when they're little and when they're older.
So cool. We need to get all your grandbabies to my house for a pool party. Huh.
And one of them's in Arizona. I haven't seen her for about 3 years, but
Really? Well, she can come from Arizona to Utah and you can come from Oregon to Utah. What a great meeting spot.
yeah, it would be. Meet at the pool.
Let's do it. All right, guys, anybody else got anything they want to share or, talk about today, or are we ready to get about our schedules? Eric and I are doing 75 hard. If you notice, I got a new water bottle. This is the last of my gallon. I'm already a gallon down, baby. That's why I got up and left though, because I pee a lot.
That's impressive. This is my second one of these today.
I'm
Nice.
presently doing 75 easy.
They call it 75 soft.
75 soft. Yeah, sure is.
Stacy's like, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I fell flat on my face in the garage off of the tripping. So yeah, I had to start over again.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So you injured yourself, obviously, it sounds like.
Yeah, my knee is swelled pretty bad. It is giving me a hard time. I'm getting back to it though.
Dang, hopefully that you recover quick. That sucks. No, it's been fun. It's been a good mix up and it's kind of cool. Michelle's working it with Eric and Lynn's working it with me and we get to talk about it. Anybody else want to join us? We're only on day what? What day are we on? 14?
15, I think. 14 or
15. Oh, today's 15.
yeah. Not that I'm counting.
Yep. I just know there's a long ways to go.
Long way.
I'm trying to get my pool body on. Okay, guys, I think that might be a wrap. Love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. A lot of good stuff going on out there. Let's keep it up.
Congrats everyone on a great week and let's keep rocking.
I just looked outside my window and it's snowing. It is snowing today.
My condolences.
Oh, geez.
My condolences.
It's supposed
Well,
to
go
be
out and run in the
supposed to be
snow.
like 60s or so on Sundays, Easter Sunday. So we'll see.
There's my snow right out my window. You see it?
Oh, nice. Yeah, we don't have any on the
Ew.
ground.
Coming down hard.
We had beautiful 71-degree weather for about a week, and then planes started flying over and clouds started forming. It's crazy.
Huh.
Snow
Yeah, you-
blowing in April. Yay.
Right.
It's cold for the next couple weeks here.
All right, y'all enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Stacy, how's the ankle?
Feeling pretty darn good lately. It's I have a cast on since Thursday and it feels much better casted, but no driving, no putting pressure on it for like 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm off work until May 12th-ish or so. That's where the 75 easy comes in.
Are you gonna get one of those knee scooters that you kneel on and can kind of?
Yeah, I
Sweet.
have one. It's
Sweet.
it's a lifesaver. I borrowed one from a nurse that I work with. I am not graceful on crutches, but the knee scooter is awesome.
Not graceful without crutches, apparently.
Apparently. I'm liable to injure myself worse with crutches.
Well,
Thank you,
good. Speedy recovery.
Thanks. That's why I was able to attend the training last Wednesday. It's really it's like a blessing in disguise. Look at all the time I have now.
Yes, yes. Come to this Wednesdays too. It's good stuff. He shares good stuff.
I'll have to check my calendar. Uh, all right, family.
See you guys.
You.
See you
See
guys.
ya.
Good one.
Talk to you later.
Bye.